The latest patch notes have been released and characters can now level up to Diamond 3. Today we will look at how long it takes to get there, and also a little peek at Silver 1, Gold 1 and Diamond 1 leveling. A new set of upgrades have been released, and we can now push our characters up to Diamond 3. This is the last known set of upgrades that we will see in the game, and considering how long it will take characters to level up to Diamond 3, let's hope we don't see any more upgrades getting added anytime soon. But we will also take a look a bit deeper into how long it takes to level characters to some of the earlier landmark rarities. We'll take a look at Silver 1, Gold 1 and then Diamond 1. These will be useful for those of us that aren't interested in spending so long on one character. So let's look first at the new upgrades themselves. The pattern for moving from D2 to D3 is very similar for all characters except Necrons. Outside of Necrons, all the characters will have to take the same first 3 upgrades they had in Diamond 2 and then need to get them in Diamond 3. The difference for the Necrons is that they always use the protocol of the Eternal Guardian instead of their usual first upgrade. It's obvious that this has been done specifically to lower the Necrons' leveling time to D3, as the protocol of the Eternal Guardian is usually around half of their normal first upgrade time. So now that we understand the first 3 upgrades, how about the last 3 upgrades? Well, they're all very similar for all characters. We've had 12 new upgrade types added. And for each character you get a collection of the following. It's either Monstrous Constitution, Monstrous Strength and Monstrous Defenses, or Preternatural Constitution, Preternatural Strength and Preternatural Defenses, or Technocrafted Constitution, Technocrafted Strength and Technocrafted Defenses, or the final batch is Super Augmented Constitution, Super Augmented Strength and Super Augmented Defenses. And generally these fit the type of character pretty well. So big solid characters like Boss Golgorts, Cut Skoden, Abaddon or Tyrant Guard will get the collection of monstrous upgrades. Preternatural upgrades usually fall to snipers like Calandus, Maugan Ra, or to psychers like Eldrion, Abraxas or Archimatos. Preternatural just means something which is beyond what is normal or natural, by the way. As you can imagine, the Technocrafted upgrades is for metal characters like the Necrons, Adeptus Mechanicus and most of the Tau Empire. Finally, the Super Augmented upgrades are mostly for the Space Marines. When we look a little bit closer at each one, they're all very similar. Each of them are constructed with 27 individual upgrades, 18 of those are legendary, and 9 of those are epic. Together they will cost roughly 792 energy to collect one full upgrade. On average, on a daily basis, you spend around 478 energy. So that means that each of these upgrades is going to roughly take 2 full days worth of energy to gather. But of course, how does it actually look with regards to having places to find these? So although it takes 2 full days of energy, it will take you longer in reality because you can't use all that energy every day. The reason is that there are only 2 places currently to go hunt for these upgrades. With 3 wins per day for each battle, let's say that you hit your 40% mark to get them. Then you can get 2 or 3 each day. Sometimes they'll be available in the Guild War shop and Rogue Trader shop as well. So based on the speed that you can actually get them currently, it's going to be around 7 or 8 days to get each individual upgrade. So something like 20 plus days to actually manage to get the last 3 upgrades for each champion and move them from D2 to D3. This last point is really important for understanding my next section. Even though you could theoretically get Certus in 40 days to Diamond 2 currently, it may take you longer due to the number of battles you can actually grind each day. As always, I'm just trying to give an indication between characters roughly how much it is rather than the actual reality. My advice for older players is simple. If you've collected all the champions, I would begin investing part of your energy every day into gathering the necessary legendary and epic upgrades for the characters you're most interested in bringing to D3 so that when the time comes, you already have some ready to go. So how does this affect the overall leveling of characters? Let's pick 3 characters and assess the differences between them. We're going to look at Certus, who is the most expensive character to level currently with 40 days from Stone 1 to Diamond 2. Celestine, who is right in the middle of everyone in terms of leveling with 36 days. And Abraxas, who is currently the cheapest character to level up at 31 days. It now takes Certus 57 days to go from Stone 1 to Diamond 3. That's an extra 17 days. Celestine takes 52 days, which is an extra 16 days. And Abraxas takes 48 days, which is also an extra 17 days. So it seems like it's roughly going to be 16 or 17 days to go from Diamond 2 to Diamond 3. I mentioned that the Necrons are a little bit different. If we look at Aleph Null, he starts on 37 and now takes 52. So that means he's a little bit lower at 15 days. Not much of a difference, but it will move the Necrons slightly down the list in terms of overall leveling. A curious choice as to why they were picked and not the Ultramarines. Finally, if we look at the chart on the right hand side, you can see how much of a difference the new level makes. So it's quite an investment into moving your characters to D3, as we all expected. The time to get all the upgrades isn't the only problem we need to look at when leveling to Diamond 3. As expected, you'll have to have your character at level 50 experience. Now for those of you who watched my recent video about how long it takes to level your characters to level 50, then you'll know just how difficult this is in the game currently. It takes you nearly 2 months to go from level 35 to level 50, and that is such a huge investment that it will be the absolute limiting factor for having plenty of characters to Diamond 3. With 70 characters already released and more coming, how can we possibly make the choice of who we want to Diamond 3? Currently, they're only useful for guild raids and normal arena, so we'll probably just be seeing the same dull characters at E3 for most of us. Get ready to level that Moggenra and Revas. And so with all that in mind, let's take a step back to reality and have a look at some of the earlier levels and how long it takes us to get there. This was suggested by a regular viewer, BubblyAD267, so thanks for the suggestion. For everyone else, I love hearing all your suggestions, comments and thoughts and for what we can dive into next, so please always feel free to share your thoughts down below. Okay, on to the graphs. What we're going to do is break up the charts to take a look at how long it takes to go from Stone 1 to Silver 1, Stone 1 to Gold 1, Stone 1 to Diamond 1, and then of course we already have the Diamond 3 numbers. We will also take a look and see if there's any significant movement by the different characters between levels. This might let you plan your character leveling a little bit better as you're moving up the ranks, especially to that first huge landmark as a new player when you hit Silver 1. But also for the mid-level players who are chasing the legendary event characters and need 6 or 7 Gold 1 characters. Okay, so let me overlay the leveling here. I've added in all the ranks we mentioned and they are sorted in order of how long they take to level in that rank. So as you can see, Certus is the longest to level in each different rank. He takes 8 days for Stone 1 to Silver 1, whereas the quickest character is Ahriman with only 4 days. For Gold 1, Certus takes 16 days, and it actually moves to Abraxas as the quickest champion at 9 days. For Diamond 1, Certus takes 35 days and Abraxas is 26 days. And finally for Diamond 3, we already saw that Certus takes 57 days and Abraxas 48 days. Okay, so now I'll order them alphabetically so they're easier to compare. Starting right at the top, we can see that Abaddon is one of the longest to level, but then gets easier moving from the top third of the characters down to the middle of the pack. Next to make a bit of a change is Athana, who goes the other way, getting longer to level her as you go. Then we can really see the jump in Necrons, with Aleph Null and Anafet moving a fair way down the Diamond 3 list. Aryak and Onshi both move up the list quite significantly. Then there's a little bit of movement here and there until we get to Eldrion. As one of the most powerful characters in the game for guild raids, I was a bit surprised to see him get easier from Silver 1 and Gold 1. As another Necron, Makotep is the second longest to level to Silver, but moves down to 16th place by Diamond 3. Still not that easy though. Moggenra, Revas, and strangely Rosita are another bunch that move up in length of leveling. Thaddeus Noble is one of the last notable entries here as he's very quick to level to Silver 1, but by the time it comes to Diamond 3, he is 8th longest. So as you can see here, there's a fair bit of movement in these lists. It's not quite straightforward with everyone staying in the same relative length of leveling as they go forwards. And I hope that all helped you today to understand a little bit more about the different leveling of characters and especially how long it takes to go to Diamond 3. Let me know in the comments below who you think are the most important characters to level to Diamond 3, or will you even be bothering for now?